My name's Juliet Slot. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of Arsenal Football Club. It's really interesting changing the mindset. I think one of the things that we've worked on really hard internally, is to introduce a lot of our employees to what is the global Arsenal supporter, the global gooner, as we call them, and explaining to them that through the research we've done, that those global supporters, the relationship they want to have with the club is actually very similar around the world, but we need to provide them with that opportunity through our digital outreach. So I think, and because when we do some really brilliant pieces of content and we see where they're picked up and how they're shared internationally, you get a real sense of your global supporter base. And if you then delve deeper into the transaction, who's buying what from where, we discovered recently, well, I discovered when I arrived and shared with the team that 20% of our e-commerce comes from America. We haven't done a bit of marketing of the team in America, and there we already have this supporter base that is there to be built on, and it's a great opportunity for us. So our growth is going to come from a variety of opportunities that I see in front of us. The first thing is about creating a global engagement platform for our supporters to come into. So rather than spending a lot of time talking to them through our third party, Facebook, Instagram, etc., creating that environment, that ecosystem for them to come into and engage with us, understanding them better, and then serving them up content and experiences that they want, and then taking our marketing message out through that, and then through local activations and through our partners into different markets. Our core markets are America, obviously Europe, and then increasingly in Asia, we have the Indian market and places like Malaysia and Indonesia, where we have huge supporter bases. Finding ways to engage with them and to deliver them the opportunities to come close to the club is great, and digital gives us that great platform to do so. So we set up our women's Arsenal team 37 years ago, and we have been one of the most successful women's teams in the WSL. What's really interesting is that in our broadcast, we're selling now, for the first time, selling our broadcast content internationally, both in America, across Germany, and in some Asian markets. There's demand there for the WSL, and particularly for, we've seen a lot of growth for support internationally around our women's team, because women's football is really coming of age, and we're giving it the platform, and with finding supporters there who like what they see. And so it's a great opportunity for us. I hope to take our team on tour so that we can bring them to local markets. It kind of creates that tentpole moment where you can bring people around your live players. So that will be the next stage for us in its development.
My name's Massey-Taylor. I'm the Chief Executive of Premiership Rugby, which looks after the domestic rugby competition in the UK. So we've got a big shift in our business, both in terms of how we are selling our product. We're becoming a much more consumer-facing business than relying on the rugby clubs that exist around the country. And so that means that we've had to shift our skill set towards product, entertainment, direct-to-consumer. And so we spend a lot of time hiring people who are experts within entertainment, within broadcast, and within building direct-to-consumer businesses that have a direct relationship with the fans. But also we've got a big shift in the way that we're governing ourselves, and so we're trying to recruit more independents to help with our decision making. We're trying to get more of a player voice within the decision making that we're making on behalf of the league. So there's another big focus on that as well. Buy-in, absolutely. A clear plan that people feel like they can own. And generally an understanding that there's going to be compromise in whatever we're doing. I work in a world where there's multiple stakeholders, whether that's the fans, whether that's the players, whether that's the clubs that participate in the league, whether that's government now because they had provided a large loan to clubs during the COVID period. We have a major major private equity partners, CVC, who are backing us. And also generally the media and the interest that the wider public has in sport. So there's a lot of people that you have to try and take on the journey with you, so it's all about communication. There's just generally a spirit of massive change in whichever industry you're working in, and so just clarity around strategy, a change in mindset in the workforce, but also looking after that workforce and making sure they don't burn out in what's going to be a pretty disruptive period that we're all going through. But exciting, and I think so far, already over the last few years, we've accumulated so much knowledge and experience from what we've had to deal with. And I think that's just going to help the economy going forward, because we're going to be much more adaptable, much more entrepreneurial, and that can only be a positive thing.